Welcome back to my channel, you guys. It is me, CMZ News, and I am just like still processing this reunion from yesterday. Excuse me, it wasn't the reunion. The season finale, the real season finale, episode 15, the reckoning, the revelation rather, the Scandoval. And I think it delivered, and I'm still processing. I've watched the episode about 3 times now. I've watched countless clips, and I'm ready to recap it. And I'm probably gonna do this in 2 parts because it's gonna be long. I'm gonna try not to make it too long, but if it starts to get there, I'm gonna cut it off. So I hope you stick around and watch both videos. I'm filming this late at night, so forgive me, looking a little rough, but I did try to put on a little rouge for y'all, okay? But before we get into that, go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate all the feedback, and I definitely want to know what y'all are thinking about several of these things. I also want to point out, like Jersey just wrapped up. We've got Teresa's wedding special coming. We also have started the Real Housewives of Atlanta has started, and the Martha's Vineyard show has started too. And Scandoval has just captivated me. I have not been able to really watch anything else or even look at anything. And you guys know I love Jersey. I haven't even recapped Jersey. But anyway, I'm going to get to it, hopefully. But let's dive into it. So this opens with, of course, I got my notes right here, so I'll be looking over here to the side. The show opens with a wonderful flashback of the Watch What Happens Live episode, and it's showing when Andy asked them who's the hotter Tom, and Rachel and Sheena answer at the same time, and they both say Sandoval, and you see Sheena like, what? Like super surprised because she thought for sure she was gonna say Schwartz. We get a little scene of them in the hallway walking out of Watch What Happens Live, and then we fast forward to present day, which was apparently 2 days after, 2 or 3 days after Ariana found out. So not today, present, but back in March, okay? So this was filmed in March. Remember, they got boots on the field right after this broke. They originally stopped filming in September. They were filming apparently some pickup shots, but they pulled, from what I understand, they pulled the cameras from Beverly Hills, the crew, and was like, get over to the Vanderpump kids, okay? So we've got Tom and Ariana in the, I always call it confessional, but in the one-on-ones, and they're looking very, Tom is looking somber. Ariana's honestly looking damn good and strong. And she said, Tom's like, all right. Basically, they're giving their versions of kind of what's going to be leading up to this next scene, which will be them talking. And Ariana shares that, in short, call it women's intuition, call it, an inkling, whatever the case may be. But when Tom was performing at the benefit, or the, not benefit, but his cover band and all that stuff, and he dropped his phone, Tom admitted that, he normally would delete all evidence of anything going on his phone, but because he was so busy trying to get ready for the show and who knows what else he was doing, he didn't have time to delete his dirty work. And you know what was done in the dark comes out in the light, and Ariana saw probably something that no one should see of an ex-partner, a current partner, anybody cheating. You should never have to see an image like that. And she saw on the phone the FaceTime of Tom and Ariana being intimate through the phone. So Ariana, of course, freaked out, and here we are. She freaked out. Apparently, she got on the phone with Raquel, begged. Raquel was like, if you have ever loved me or thought anything of me, ever cared, tell me what happened. When did this happen? And Ariana gave her a timeline. There's a lot of us who don't believe the timeline, said it was 7 months before. They were still in New York. They get into, of course, we know what happens with Sheena and Raquel, and they'll talk about that a little later. But Sheena even says that Raquel just calmly was like, because she saw her on the phone, and Sheena's like, what's going on? And Raquel's like, oh, I've been having an affair with Sandoval for 7 months, and Ariana just found out. And Raquel, Sheena says that she said it just so, like, the same way of like, oops, just sick. So we are now at Tom and Ariana's house, and Ariana's being consoled by a friend. Tom is also there because he lives there. This is their house. It's been 2 or 3 days later. I definitely think he should have been the one to get out of the house, permanently for a few weeks or whatever to give her time while they figured it out. But it is his home. And her friend, she knows obviously the cameras are there. They got to film the scene. So she ends up leaving. Ariana's sitting on the couch. She looks, like the color has just been gone from her face. She looks oddly calm, but you can tell if you really look at her, it's like she hasn't showered. She almost looks kind of stoic. She is, in a way, in shock, I think. She just looked, she didn't look well, but she wasn't crying. She was just like almost stone-faced, but almost like this, to me. So Tom comes in the kitchen and he's like, can I do anything? Can I get you anything? Can I do anything for you or something like that, he says. And she goes, free to die. To which he replies, well, that's inevitable. And so then she goes, so how was Raquel's? And I liked that. I was like, okay. Because, yeah, I'd be like, oh, so have you been talking to your little girlfriend? What's the point? But I kind of like that she was talking a little ish to him. And he was like, I was at Schwartz's yesterday. And she was like, well, you were at Schwartz's when I saw that video, which we will get into more. And he says that she tells him, you haven't even apologized for what you did. He's like, well, Ariana, when I try to apologize, you just get so angry. And she was like, so what? Apologize anyway. She's like, he goes, well, I didn't want to hurt you. She goes, yet you continue to do something that hurt me more and more over and over again. You continue to F my friend. And he says, what did he say? She goes into it. She's like, I've been with you when you had nothing, when you drove a 97 Honda, when you lived in that crappy apartment, when you had no money. She goes, but now, you get a little bit of money, you get a little bar, you get a little TV show, and you get a little ego, you get a little band, and now want your ego stroked because this girl who hasn't been here for the last 9 years to get to this spot where we are and doesn't know all the work and the bloodshed and tears and probably all the support Ariana has given him. Oh, now this little hoe wants to come and, just be, his little fairy gas him up person. She let him have it. And he's just like, no, it's not about that. She's like, yes, it is. And she points out that Rachel has no identity outside of a guy. She takes the identity of this guy. He's like, she doesn't know who she is. She was like, this is a person who will smile in my face, hang out with me, hug me, doesn't know who she is, totally adopting your personality. And you think this is the good person that you want to go be with? This is the type of person you're going to go be with? And, he's just quiet and he's just trying to get his point across that this started as a friendship. He's like, we just had this friendship, and Ariana's not letting him have it. She explodes. She's like, your friendship is bullshit. Now Tom turns from trying to be somber. He's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. You don't know everything. He's all, everybody, because, there's production and people there. Everybody, this person right here knows everyone. It knows everything. Why are you yelling at her? You have been banging her friend for the last 7 months in her home, laughing in her face, going on trips together, doing all these things. You should be quiet as a church mouse. You should be, whether she's going to accept your forgiveness or not, you should be so humbled and be begging her, apologizing. Not that there's any amount of sorry, but the way that he is angry with her. He is angry with Ariana. He keeps trying to say how, she talks to me with respect. I haven't had that. I'm not going to say that there isn't some truth in the things that Tom says about the nature of his relationship with Ariana. I think it would be unfair to act like Ariana was just perfect. Tom is just a narcissist. He might be, but because of maybe his whatever diagnosis that we're all saying he has, he wasn't feeling whatever, she wasn't giving him what he wanted, but he didn't, obviously, if he communicated those things to her, he claims that, in the Howie Mandel interview, he claims they went to counseling, but you know, who knows. Um, but the thing is that I just don't understand his anger towards her. He's angry towards her, and he shouldn't be. But I think he is so upset, basically, that she stopped probably being that fangirl and they had to start living a real relationship. And he doesn't like that. You know, he wants the excitement. He wants to feel, he wants to be in that lust stage all the time. He mentions again that, you know, that they weren't having sex and all this and that. And he's just trying to make her understand. And she goes, "That you're fucking my friend." And he just kept trying to make his point. She goes, "You banged my friend. You banged my friend." And he just kept trying to go on and on. She's like, "Tom, this is you. Like, you're hanging yourself. Like, keep talking because you're literally hanging yourself." She told him that she regrets defending him. She regrets every moment she supported him. He's worth nothing to her. She said, "Listen to my words. I want you to hear me. I want you to hear this from the woman who has loved you for the last 9 years, who's bought this house with you, who's built this life with you. I regret ever loving you." And then she goes, "Any last words before we never speak?" I was like, fuck. And this is when I think one of the realest moments came. He told her that he never imagined that this would happen and that he thought they would be together forever. The music gets sad, you know, and she actually starts crying because she wasn't crying at all this time. And they actually don't say that. I remember watching the previews. There's a scene where she's like, "You don't deserve a second of my tears." She didn't say that unless I missed it, because honestly, I was watching it at my neighbor's and we were pausing it. We were like, "Oh my God," you know, we were talking and stuff. So I don't think she said it, but she starts breaking down, and this like broke my heart and I almost cried. She was like, "You know, I would have followed you anywhere. I would have changed any part that you were unhappy with." She said, "You know, I was 100% committed to you as of 2 days ago." And Sandoval's crying and he's crying. And I honestly think in this scene, I think in other scenes, he was over the top and maybe faking it and putting it on for the cameras, which he knows he's trying to do his best to garner a little sympathy. I do think in that first scene with him and Ariana, I do think he had true emotion and true crying. And I think she did as well. It was sad. I mean, she said a lot of other stuff. She did talk about, you know, the counseling thing. He mentioned, "Oh, I tried to break up with you, but you wouldn't let me." And he said that in the Howie Mandel. Now, she didn't deny that, but what I don't think she got the chance to express was that, bruh, no, you don't get to just waltz in and say, like, "I want to break up with you." Like, we have been together 9 years. We own a home together. We have business ventures together. We're on this show together. Like, if you're not happy, we need to actually do some steps to try to work on this unhappiness before you just throw in the towel, because we are supposed to be each other's life partners. I think that's fair. However, if he really did not want to be with her, and she said this, she goes, "Well, then you should not have gotten to bed with me. You should have packed your shit and you should have left. And guess what I would have had to do? Except that you don't want to be with me." But he didn't do that. Instead, he goes and fucks her friend. And she's like, and the whole thing is, you want to say this and that about, "I tried to break up." She's like, "Do you not understand that you weren't home and you weren't around because you were banging my friend? You weren't trying to go get counseling and work on things because you were banging my friend." It was a really good scene. She brought up so much stuff. It was good. Really, really good. I just, when she said, "Any last words before we never speak again?" I was like, damn, like she's strong, you know, because sometimes as women, you want to send all these text messages. You want to be like getting your point across and you're so hurt. She is done. It's like, damn, Tom, if you didn't want to be with her, all you had to do is tell her you cheated, because like she clearly had no problems leaving when she found out you were cheating on her. The very next scene, he goes straight to Schwartz's house. Now, here's the interesting part, because Ariana also mentioned that he never apologized to her, and she's mentioned that. He walks into Tom Schwartz's nasty ass, dirty ass apartment. I'm sorry, Schwartz looks unwell. Schwartz looks extremely unkept. Schwartz looks like he's going through things. He looked dirty. His apartment was dirty. His hair is dirty. Anyways, Tom walks in, immediately apologizes to Schwartz. Now, I'm going to refer to Tom as Tom. I might say Sandoval, and I'm just going to try to say Schwartz, okay? Schwartz was like, "I'm not going to beat you down, man." Like, Tom is now sobbing. Now, I personally feel like, I do think that I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not an expert on what a narcissist and all this is. The cast and everyone loves throwing around these buzzwords, and I can't stand it. Narcissist, misogynist. Check your internal misogyny. Like, you can't call anybody hoe anymore. You can't say anything because you got to check your own life, and you're narc and you're that. Whatever. I don't know if he is. I can't say that he doesn't have true emotions. I would say if he feels anything, he feels bad for himself. So he could be crying truly just tears for himself and the love of his life, Schwartz. I think he was putting on, though, for sure. I mean, he was really sobbing. You know, he's in fight or flight mode. The cameras are there. This is his chance to try to get the public on his side, to try to look so remorseful that people are like, wow, look at him. Like, he really is sad. You know, he really didn't mean to hurt her. He was so unhappy, you know? So I don't think it's coming across. The guy's not a good actor. He tried really hard, but it was just fake, you know? Now, Schwartz claims that he'd been telling him to stop the affair. He was like, I just told you as early as last week, man. And, you know, they started talking about all the trouble that the restaurant is having during this time in March. People were going on there leaving really bad reviews, which I do not agree with that. Guys, just don't go to the restaurant if you don't want to go. Like, there's other people that work there. I think we all understand that now. Like, it's BS to do that, right? He asked Tom, Schwartz asked Tom to post something, basically saying it's not his fault. I felt like multiple times this episode, Schwartz was trying to make it clear that, you know, he doesn't want to be the scapegoat for this, and that, you know, it's not his fault, and, you know, make sure everybody knows. Schwartz, you know, things have come out since then. Schwartz 1,000% knew. They want to go back and forth with this timeline, but I don't know why they're giving him credit and saying, like, what do you know? What didn't you know? And break away from Tom. No, he will never. He knew everything. That's his boy. You think he didn't know? Maybe he told him, man, you should tell her. You should, come on, dude, tell her. He was going on double dates with Joe, which is Schwartz's little girlfriend or something. He was aware, like, he was well aware. They were, even, it actually just came out last episode when they went to the something about her party. Before they went there, they all went to dinner. There's pictures of them on an Instagram post around that time, and people compared it. They're like, they're wearing the same clothes in this outfit. He had went out with them. Schwartz was 1,000% aware of what's been going on, okay? So this was, affair started their timeline, August, Sheena's wedding. Now this is March, okay, that we're watching. Schwartz knew that whole 7 months. I will give it to him that maybe Tom didn't come and tell him, hey, man, guess what? I banged Raquel last night. He might have waited a little bit and then was like, dude, I have a fucking secret. Like, I'm hooking up with Raquel. He knew, though. So I really wish, stop giving this buffoon any, like, grace, because he does not deserve any, okay? So Tom again tries to, like, you know, after the Abbey, you know, I felt something that I haven't felt. And it's like, you're making me sick with this whole, I felt something. You felt your move, dude. Like, you didn't feel nothing. This little Bambi dumbass B was not having these intellectual conversations with you. Like, the girl can barely talk without shaking. I'm gonna not get graphic because that's just not appropriate, but I don't even see like a sexual bone in her body. She just seems very like, yeah, what? Like, I don't get it, whatever. But Tom again made a lot of gross comments about how he's not getting his needs met and what he'd have to do. And it's just like, did you ever just tell her, Ariana, I need this from you. I need this for us, for our relationship. What do we have to do to make sure that we can get back to a place that I am satisfied? If he's not sleeping with her, Ariana also isn't getting those needs met. Maybe Ariana's okay with that. Everybody has different, you know, feelings with that. But I'm like, I find it really hard to believe that Ariana was just like so happy that there was no intimacy. There was no intimacy. So what? She's happy to just go along with no intimacy. I don't believe that. Anyways, he leaves, whatever. They talk about that. Then we go back to Ariana's house. She is surrounded by friends. She also shares that Lisa offered her a place to stay. Now, Sheena comes. This is her first time seeing Sheena, or I don't know, because at this point it's been like 2 days, okay? Katie also comes in. Sheena and Katie, you know, Sheena pours Katie a drink. They're like, look, this is about Ariana. We're squashing stuff. We're not having any problems. Or we're not going to talk about our problems right now. Ariana shares basically how she found out. She starts with how she went to Tom's show. and that his phone fell. She grabbed it. She saw the screen recording, and she found out that it happened at Schwartz's house. And she said, I called Raquel again. I made her say what happened. And when she said it was after the girls' trip. And she was like, so wait, after girls' trip, you mean after Charlotte died? Ariana's beloved dog that she's still mourning. Raquel said they kissed. Well, Ariana said that during the last couple of days with her finding out, her and Tom have been obviously arguing and fighting and stuff like that. And Tom admitted to her that he actually banged Raquel the night of guys' night in Raquel's car. Fucking classy, okay? And basically like in front of their house he did this because he had no key to get into the house. Don't know why he didn't have his keys, but he didn't have them. And so he has to ring the doorbell. And Ariana has to let him in the house. She has to let him in the house after he probably has Raquel's stench on him. How do you look her in the eye, get in the bed with her? He probably took a shower because he'd been out drinking, probably reeked of alcohol and whatever else. Okay, I'll keep it clean. How sick are you? Sheena shares, that night she had like so much rage and, that Raquel just said it like just so, yeah, I'm having this affair. And Sheena pushed her and she's like, I pushed her. I don't know if I scratched her. I don't know. She goes, I literally ran back to my hotel. She changed her flight. She did all this stuff. And she said, when she got on the phone, I guess Raquel called Schwartz and was like, Sheena punched me. Sheena punched me. I like the way she said it. She sounded like her. Sheena was real emotional. I mean, obviously Ariana is the victim in this, but Sheena also was hurt. She was super close to Raquel. She was close to Sandoval, though it was her crew. She was so selfless with this girl. She was, stood up for her. She lost friends that she's no longer. And it was really sad. And Katie also mentioned that, she recounts a story at BravoCon, how, remember when Rachel was wearing the Tom Tom sweaters and all that stuff. And she was like, she remembered telling Schwartz, like, wow, she's fangirling hard for you. And Schwartz was like, well, she ain't here for me, trust me. And so, I don't know, I would have been like, well, is she here for the other Tom? Like, I think I would have got it out of him. Like, wait, what does that mean? Like, who's she here for? Tom? Like, I don't know. Anyway, they just rally, and Ariana's really lucky to have amazing friends like that. I have good friends like that too, and I think it's just amazing. Now we are at 22 minutes. I think I'm gonna let this go to 25, and then I will start part 2, okay? So James, we go over to James's house, and James has been a wreck the last couple days. He says that he's not mad about Raquel. He's just really upset with Tom. He's like, Tom is the ultimate backstabber. If you look up the name backstabber in the dictionary, you should see Tom's face. He's like, he looked up to Tom in many ways, which is true. Tom was one of his best friends. Tom and Ariana, they really took James under their wing. James had it rough in that group. They didn't want him on cast trips. Like, he fought with Jax. I mean, does everybody remember when Jax fucked? Like, he's had his time in the group and his rage and fighting with Lala and all that stuff. And, Sandoval always had his back. And, even through the breakup with Kristen. So he was sad. He was crying, and I thought it was really sad. Now, Katie and Lala come over, and Lala points out, that, or she asked him, how do you feel about Schwartz or something like that? And James is like, I'm not even mad at Schwartz, like, anymore, because it was all a ruse. Like, she was really hooking up with Sandoval. That's the problem. Lala points out that she doesn't think this is the first time he's cheated. She's like, look, you don't go from being in a committed relationship with somebody to being so comfortable that you're just banging your friend. Like, you've been getting your, wet with a bunch of people and probably getting your little story together, using different apps, like figuring out how you can get away with stuff. And, well, what does she notice? How far can I go? And Raquel was just like the golden egg of all of it. But definitely 100% believe that Sandoval is hooked up with people on the road. I don't think a leopard changes the spots. He's a cheater. He's always been a cheater, and it's gross. Then they call Raquel, and he asks her, James calls Raquel, he tells the girls to be quiet. He asks Raquel if her and Sandy are going to be an item. And she's like, no. And he's like, you know, so how do you feel that you like lost everybody, everyone who liked you in LA, you've lost everyone? She was like, well, it's definitely eye-opening. And he's like, so you lost everybody for 40-year-old Tom's stinky D. And she's like, James, like, I don't think I have to explain myself to you. And he's like, you know what, Raquel, you're not very bright, are you? And Ellie's like, stop. And I'm like, Ellie, shut up. Stop trying to be, no, F this B. And he's like, you know, the smartest thing you've done, Raquel, is I creep around and be able to keep that silent, creep around with Tom for 7 months. And then he's like, bye, and then just like hangs up on her. Obviously, Raquel probably knew James was calling. Production was like, you need to pick up this phone call, because I'm pretty sure she wasn't answering many people's calls, like, because I'm sure people were calling her like, the fuck. Okay, so I'm gonna end this video there, and when we pick back up, we are gonna get into the first scene with Raquel and Tom, Rachel and Tom. We're gonna get into Tom at Villa Rosa, Ariana at Villa Rosa, back at Ariana's house with surprise guests, and as well as Sheena Marie gets her scene with Tom, okay? So thank you for watching. This is part 1 of my 2-part recap of the season 10, episode 15, Scandoval. We've waited so long for this, so please like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to watch the second video.